In 2020, the Village of Niles Police Department in Niles, Illinois started wearing face masks depicting the racist, anti-Black, Blue Lives Matter Thin Blue Line flag symbol. The Northwest Side Coalition Against Racism and Hate campaigned to remove the symbol and suggested anti-racist policies to foster a more welcoming community for all people. Here's one of our public comments at a recent village board meeting.
I would like to follow up on my previous public comment at the village board meeting back in September regarding the anti-Black racist behavior exhibited by the Niles Police. Since then, the Journal and Topics Media Group published an article entitled, "Niles Police End Use of Thin Blue Line Masks." In that article, Chairperson Robert Moore of the NAACP was quoted saying, "The thin blue line symbol has come to mean opposition to the Black Lives Matter movement, and it is aligned with the Blue Lives Matter movement. When I get stopped and I know what the blue line means from my perspective, that doesn't build trust." WGN TV also did a news story entitled, "Niles Says Police Officers Can No Longer Use Thin Blue Line Masks." A Black Niles resident was interviewed saying, "I think they should ban them from wearing them. They are supposed to protect and serve. It's not about them, it's about the community they protect and serve. That means everyone, not just themselves." But Mayor Schiavello made it clear in the October Village Board meeting that the masks were removed for officer safety only. In that same meeting, Trustee Dean Strzelecki announced there was no racism in Niles Police, which harkens back to an incident reported on in 2013. Back then, the Journal and Topics Media Group also published an article entitled, "Niles Ethics Board Questions Police Over Offensive Emails," which was about racist emails being sent within the Niles Police Department. Trustee Strzelecki, then the police chief, was quoted, "I can tell you there is no racism in this department." This should sound familiar. So it's clear that this is a pattern, which is not surprising given the historical and scientific fact that racism is a cultural norm in our society. This isn't about shaming or blaming. This is about taking accountability and doing better. As Dr. Angela Davis said, in a racist society, it's not enough to be non-racist. We must be anti-racist. Which is why our coalition suggested 3 reforms, which I will remind you here. Number 1 was create and fund a permanent Office of Equity and Racial Justice to craft and implement a racial equity assessment and plan for the Village of Niles. Number 2 was elect a Civilian Police Accountability Council to ensure democratic control over the police. And number 3 was to mandate effective annual anti-racism training for all elected officials and village employees. In 2012, it was racist emails. In 2020, it was racist face masks. What will it be next time? We yearn for an inclusive society that welcomes all folks, and that requires active support from our government to cultivate that ideal. Let's move forward together and create the community we all want and deserve. Thank you.
The face masks are an explicit but relatively small form of racism. The reluctance of the Niles Police and village administration to take meaningful action suggests a larger looming implicit and systemic form of racism. We are calling upon local residents to rise up with us and affirm Black Lives Matter in Niles.